it's terrifyingly scary. This is the Ontario SB10 Marine Raider. I can actually review this thing now. This thing is a chunk of knife. It's like almost 2 pounds, and as you can see, this is my replacement trapping knife. And as a comparison, I'll bring my K-bar in. I have a new K-bar, a nice shiny one. I'll review it in a little bit. But that's the size differences you're looking at there. It's about a 9-inch blade on there. My last K-bar video I did with Binky there, I didn't give you all the specs. I'll try to get more specs in it. So I'll get the specs out of the way, and I'll take this out of the way. So anyway, with the Ontario SB10 Marine Raider, same type of steel as the K-bar, 1095, same rough Rockwell hardness of 56 to 58. Weighs 1.8 pounds, you might as well say 2 pounds. Nearly, well, just give you an idea, there's my thumb. My thumb is almost a perfect inch. So that's about a 1/4 inch, not quite, but around a 1/4 inch thick. It is a very blade heavy knife. I haven't thrown it around yet. The tip on it seems really decent. It's a unique knife that's kind of not like anything else out there that I've ever handled. It's almost kukri-ish in the sense that the blade, oops, oh good, I'd hate to ruin this beautiful trailer, you know. Anyway, I don't know if you can really pick it up, but the blade is slightly angled forward. We'll use that line for comparison. So there you go. You can see how much it's angled forward. Now the reason why it's angled forward is that it gives you better cutting edge right here. This is your cutting. This is your prime cutting area. I gotta be careful. It is kind of a sharp knife. In fact, you're going to be kind of surprised how sharp this knife is from the factory. It's a real hacking and chopping knife. It's a work knife. It's not a surgical tool. It is a bulk work knife. Could you? I mean, the full tang on this thing, the Kydex handle. Kydex? I call it plastic, whatever. It's not a bad handle. Fighting knife, a little too big. Sorry, there's my bear skull again. Fighting knife, it's just a little bit too big. Not that you can't really. I mean, even in slow motion, you get the idea. Like, this thing is just freaking terrifying, you know. But underhanded, I want to show you something. If you look at it underhanded, okay, look at how angled down the blade is. You'd have to put your hand like this. So it's not a good fighting knife. You'd have to fight overhand with it. I hope you never get into a knife fight. That's the most terrifying idea in the world. But just for those who are interested. I'd say 90% utility, 10% fighting. Sorry, it is what it is. Why? Just too heavy. You know, it's just too heavy to be... when you throw it around, you'll understand what I mean. So if you're thinking of it in that kind of sense, it's a heavy knife. It's a work knife. You know, it is what it is. The edge on this, again, like it's probably like 18 to 22 degree kind of beveled edge, or not beveled, but well, sharpened, both edged, double edged. It's not a hollow grind; it's just a flat grind, as you can see. Yeah, it's a little bit dirty. Some of that is tree guts. Some of that is, well, again, it is a trapping knife. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't buy these things to look at them. Although I can find myself often staring at them going, that thing is so cool. You have a very cheap lanyard. I've never really worried about it, but, you know, the power behind this thing when you actually hit some, well, I'll have to show you that because that's quite incredible. Again, we got a knife that is a utility knife that you could sharpen with a rock pretty much in a jam. Batoning, again, even with that size, I say batoning is a last-ditch attempt, and only in desperate situations. Can it do it? Sure. Is it good for it? Probably not. You beat on any knife long enough, you'll break it. But just look at the, I mean, that's just thick, you know. That is just thick. That is awesome. Ontario, USA. I like American-made knives. They're very cool. I'm a Canadian, and you know, we like this stuff up here. Price, you're looking at about, in Canadian dollars, I bought it from Knife Zone in Saskatchewan, I believe, and it was about 103 after tax, shipping, and all that, and before that, it was probably 84, 85 bucks. So, in the States, I know you guys say, well, we can get them for 50. Yeah, but your economy's different. You guys get everything a lot cheaper than what we do. We pay import taxes and taxes on our taxes, sunshine taxes, breathing taxes. We pay all kinds of taxes, so they also put extra taxes on knives, I'm sure. And, you know, then there's the markup from the retailer as well. I've bought a couple of knives from Knife Zone, I believe, and I had no problems with them, so they seem fairly reliable. The sheath, I didn't cover the sheath in my last video. To me, Who the hell wants to see the sheath? But I think it's kind of important to cover this. For those of you out there in the special forces or military or tactical, you're probably going to look at this sheath and say, yeah, it can work. So you got one clip here. I usually leave this one undone. If you were in an area where you'd have to grab it quickly, you'd probably just leave this one and leave that one undone. If you were not going to grab it quickly, then you'd just solid it up. Complaints about this thing. I'll just start with the negatives. Noisy. You know, you can't quite hear the squeak, but this thing, when you're wearing it, it squeaks. It flops because it's such a big knife. I lost the lanyard. I don't know where to put it. You tie it around your leg. But I usually just let it flop. It's a heavy knife. It's a long knife. It will cover a good proportion of your leg from the belt up, so right down to almost my shin. Overall length of the knife is something like 14 inches. Again, it's a nicely made sheath, but it's just, I think it's a little more complicated than it needs to be. But that's just me. Again, everybody will have their own on that one. Last things, again, overall length I think is 14.5, 15 inches, 9.5 inch blade, 9-inch blade. I didn't look at the specs before making the video. I should have, bad me, but I just figured people would want to see it for what it is. Scale of 1 to 10, I give it an 11. Awesome, awesome knife if you're treating it like a work knife. Again, if you're going between fighting versus as a fighting knife, I'd say 10% fighting knife. Not that you can't, it's just that it's not really designed for that. It's really designed to be a work knife. Sharpness, decent, very, very decent. I'll be doing demonstrations with these things later on, so it don't matter if you know, you don't get to see all that now. You're going to get to see it. Trust me, I walked around the bush during the wintertime just hacking off trees and branches and stuff like that. This thing's a tank. Highly recommend this knife. Very reliable, very decent. So anyway, rate, subscribe. It's big. It's bad. It's terrifyingly scary. This is the Ontario SB10 Marine Raider. I can actually review this thing now. This thing is a chunk of knife. It's like almost 2 pounds, and as you can see, this is my replacement trapping knife. And as a comparison, I'll bring my K-bar in. I have a new K-bar, a nice shiny one. I'll review it in a little bit. But that's the size differences you're looking at there. It's about a 9-inch blade on there. My last K-bar video I did with Binky there, I didn't give you all the specs. I'll try to get more specs in it. So I'll get the specs out of the way. I'll take this out of the way. So anyway, with the Ontario SB10 Marine Raider, same type of steel as the K-bar, 1095, same rough Rockwell hardness of 56 to 58. Weighs 1.8 pounds. You might as well say 2 pounds. Nearly, well, just give you an idea, there's my thumb. My thumb is almost a perfect inch. So that's about a 1/4 inch. Not quite.